'Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down. You sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie. You work on a smile and you go for a ride. You had a bad day.
What's up, guys? Welcome into From the Nosebleeds. A somber, probably the most sad this show will ever be, for me at least.
O'Leary died.
No, well, maybe inside.
He got trampled by a police horse at
Then-
City Hall.
He might have died inside, but then again, so did I.
Yep.
My name is Vince Libiondo, here with Seamus, Pat, Taylor, and
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, Jake.
What's up,
Jake in
boys?
the house. Jake behind the glass. That's not actually there.
I'm finally in person. Got to meet him, and
What do you think of him?
I think he's a nice-looking guy.
You find him attractive?
Notice how Seamus always it's always right about the physicality.
No, I'm not worried about it. I just want to know
No,
how
I
you
didn't say
feel.
you're worried about it.
All right.
You're trying to spark something there.
So,
Yeah.
Seamus, how do you feel that Taylor's sitting so close to you?
I'm annoyed more than ever because right before he went on, he was like, "All right, shut up and let's start the show," as if he's doing anything. Jake's
Yeah,
doing
'cause
all
you're
the work.
rambling on about God knows what.
We're the only show that has two producers. All right, that's how you know we're
That's
good.
not even true.
That's how you know we're good. Oh, it's not even true. I'm Mr. Radio Guy, Taylor.
Remember,
Yep, that's
I
Taylor.
Spot on.
Yeah.
anyway, so the Eagles, I don't even want to say it, but they lost the Super Bowl.
They
which-
did?
It's something that
I
was
don't know.
inconceivable to me until Sunday.
Wait,
Like-
I did hear that Pat Mahomes is being tested for performance-enhancing drugs,
That was
and
a joke.
that's going to get rescinded. No, my dad told me it's got to be true.
Yeah,
Yeah, my sister
they're
said
gonna-
that to
He
me too,
read
and
it
I
on
was like,
Facebook.
no.
It's got to be real.
that's coming. That's gonna come back. They're gonna award the Super Bowl to the Eagles. Actually,
Yeah, I don't accept these results. All right.
I don't even really know like where to start with this because, like I said, it was them losing was like not even something that I don't think any of us considered like happening until Sunday. Like Sunday, the nerves hit me when I woke up and I was like, "Holy shit! Like today's actually the Super Bowl."
I wasn't overly confident on Sunday, but I was overly confident in the 2 weeks leading up to Sunday.
Absolutely, I was. But then again, isn't that why we should have known that this would all come back up in our face?
I
because of
knew
how
this was
confident
going
I
to happen, but I didn't want to say anything. Like, I didn't know it was going to happen. But when I was listening to, like, sports radio or looking at Twitter, when every single person in the city was saying birds by... You had people that were saying birds by, like, 30. And like it was a consistent thing. It wasn't like a some idiots calling in and saying that.
No.
There was a lot of confidence here, and that's
every
bad
like
news.
credible person and just honestly fans too thought the Eagles would win this.
Well, when Terry Bradshaw, Michael Strahan, and Howie Long were saying, birds are going to win the Super Bowl, that's when I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then
I-
when the head coach cries on national television, I was like, oh boy.
I knew
Here we go.
I kind
You
of knew
hated that?
That was fucking
I
awesome.
thought it was bizarre.
I kind of knew the Eagles were cooked when Elon Musk tweeted "Go Eagles."
Yeah, that was.
And then
when
he
they did
deleted
By
it.
the way,
because
what
they
was
got
he
shit on
wearing
Twitter.
at that game? You're not supporting, like, at least put on a foot. I know you're a nerd. I know there's something, I don't know what's up with him, but I know you're a nerd.
Autism, probably.
No, not that. He's just a geek, all right? And he's proud of it. But at least if you're going to a game, pretend that you're going to support one team or another.
There were
Wear some sort of jersey.
I guess before we even talk about the game, there were some funny like crowd shots, like Elon sitting with Rupert Murdoch, the fucking owner of
Couple
Fox.
bees in a pod.
And then,
Yeah.
and then also, which is by
Rupert Murdoch.
far my favorite, was Don and Kelsey sitting in between Roger Goodell and DeMar Hamlin. What a trio!
Okay, all right. Let me get this off my chest real
What a
quick.
trio.
The lovable mom and the guy that
I-
almost died.
Just can I
And
get
then-
this
And then
off?
Roger Goodell.
I have to get something off my chest real quick. That visual haunts me to this day.
I thought you had
Why is DeMar Hamlin sitting with Donna Kelsey? Can we break that down? Like, what is the
What
like?
is there to break down?
Like,
about
what is
it?
the idea? I get it's two people that are in the news because they're connected to the NFL.
Yes.
But like, all right, like, why isn't Donna Kelsey with her family, and why isn't DeMar Hamlin with his family, and why are they sitting together, and why do they have to show that? I don't know, man. The whole thing was weird.
I mean,
Chris
I think
Stapleton sounded good though.
he did sound phenomenal. He's
Yeah.
got an incredible voice.
Are you a big Chris Stapleton guy, Jake?
I'm a big American fan, and he killed it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did kill it.
I'm
He-
pretty sure the
killed
over/under
it.
of the national anthem missed by like a millisecond.
What was it,
It
like?
was a
Supposed to be
half
like
second.
203 or
That's
something?
crazy.
It was a half second.
Yeah, it was 205.
I
I
sh-
swore he hit the over.
Yeah, I
I should
thought
have
he
known my night was cooked when I lost my heads or tails bet. I had heads. Yeah, I overthought
Tails
it.
never fails,
yeah,
you
no, see, I
dumbass.
overthought that because I was like, but what if it does? And you know what? Now
It never does.
I've learned
It never fucking fails.
I've
It's-
learned my lesson to no
Have you?
longer gamble because I not
Okay.
not only did the Eagles lose, I didn't win.
So-
Actually, I did win one of the fucking stupider bets I
Let-
made. but,
let's
like I
set-
won nothing of note.
Let's set up the night though. Where were you watching the game?
My cousin's house.
Your cousin's house. Was it a good vibe, or were there,
So it was interesting because pretty much aside from me and my cousin's boyfriend, no one else in the room really like cares about football that much. But I'll give them
that's
this.
the worst.
No. But they knew how to read the room because they knew that I was a sicko from the beginning, and they made sure to not like fuck around because there's stories of people who they go to parties with people who don't really care about football and like they're talking talking just about unimportant shit and it drives you crazy. I have to respect this group of people because they at least knew how to.
They knew that you
they
were-
knew how to read the room.
You weren't going to stand for that.
Not at all.
Like somebody could have been like, "Hey Vince, let's talk about politics all night," and that would have really. I mean, you might have been better off, to be honest with you, than watching that.
Hindsight 2020, maybe.
Now O'Leary was with a group of people that we know, and I'm sure that's fun because those people are fun. But I will say this: my brother was there, and the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I was with my brother. They lost this time; I wasn't with them. All right,
I mean,
so let's just
last time
that-
I was
that
with
has
my
to be it.
parents.
let's just jot that down.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I learned that the whole like wear the same outfit thing is a farce because I wore the Hassan Reddick.
Oh,
jersey.
really? Breaking.
Yeah, I wore that.
That's
I-
not
No, it's
real.
not.
Well,
It's
like
not a
I'm
farce.
superstitious. I wore the Hassan Reddick jersey all 3 games, and they won 2 of them. And
Oh,
I realized at
Drop the
halftime that
Super
I was
Bowl.
wearing
No, no, no.
different socks, so that's why.
but that only goes for like 2018. Like, what were you wearing that day? Like, it has to be that, not what were you wearing during the playoffs.
No, it's the playoff run.
No, it's not the playoff
Yes, it
run.
is.
It's got to be
Yes, it
the
is.
last time you won the Super Bowl. What were you doing? What were you wearing? That's how I roll. That's just
no.
how I roll.
yeah, that's not how
I don't
I
even
roll.
Were you
have
wearing
the
a
clothes.
Sam Reddick jersey in 2017?
I would
Yes,
have had
he
to
was.
have had a time
Temple?
machine to do so.
A Temple jersey, maybe?
Anyway, I literally I wrote some notes here. My first page is the positives of the game. So let's get those out of the way because
That should be fast.
there's like 3. There's like 2.
It's going to be
Two-
rapid.
I literally have 2 things written down.
Rihanna better be in there.
Well, I was gonna kind of make that on another note, but sure, I'll open with Rihanna. At
And
least
I like how she made it about herself, announcing that she's pregnant. Just make the whole Super Bowl about yourself.
But
I thought that was
that
great.
her halftime show is about her.
Yeah, but it's a little-
Anyway,
it's a little
I was at least happy the Eagles were up by 10 at halftime, so I could enjoy the halftime show. I remember the halftime show of 2017. I was like shitting my pants walking. Not that I say that I wasn't this time, but it was a closer game, so I was fucking way more nervous. Whereas, we're up by 10. Not that I thought the Eagles like had it in the bag or anything, but I was like, okay, 10-point lead. I can relax a little here.
It was a better show, by the
Everyone
way,
who
than-
knows me knows I love
No.
Rihanna.
It was a better show.
Rihanna was way better than Timberlake.
Yeah, he was
For sure.
She was way better than Timberlake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Taylor, I thought for a second there you were saying
Yeah, I
no.
thought you
Oh,
said
no, no, no.
I thought
Yeah.
you said no.
Rihanna was one of the better ones they've had in recent years. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked the last year, but no, I was glad that the Eagles at least had culminated a 10-point lead so I could like watch and enjoy it.
And somewhat enjoy it. You're
Yeah.
a little nervous, of course, but
The other positives, the actual game is just Jalen Hurts is like proved that he is him. He
Mhm.
once again shut up all his doubters. 300 total yards.
Even Chris
4
Sims
total
after the game
touchdowns.
was like, "Wow, he's really good."
Yeah, you know what? He
It's
can
like,
go,
yeah, no fucking
he-
shit, dude. We've been trying to tell you all year.
He can go stick it where the
Yeah,
sun don't shine.
fuck him.
Fuck that guy.
All these people are finally admitting it now when there's like no choice because
Yeah.
he did what he did on a
Balled the fuck
national
out.
stage, even more so than what he any other stage he's been on. Jalen just kind of proved that he's made for the moment. Like the moment is not too big. The best example
374 total yards.
The best example would be that, yeah, he had that fumble, which, like, sucked, and we'll talk more about, like, what went into all that. But, like, the fact that he fumbled, let up a game-tying touchdown, and then on that, when they get the ball back, he takes it down the field and scores. So, like, I think that moments like that where you see that he won't fold and, like, he kind of, like, looks in the face of pressure and is able to drive in the field, it makes you think that if they had a chance at the end of the game, like, they definitely would have maybe either tied or won the game. But the moment was not too big for Jalen. And people have been saying that for a while because, like, SEC, he's at the SEC, and, like, that's the biggest stage you can be on besides the NFL. So I was very happy with that. And then the only other positive is just the core of Jalen, AJ, Devontae, and Dallas that we will probably have for the next 4 or 5 years is just like something to at least smile
You
about.
think Jalen's going to come back next year? I mean, he's still under contract, but, you never know.
Yeah, maybe he'll just retire.
Yeah, man. Listen,
He'll
if he
transfer to
won,
Oklahoma.
if he won, I wouldn't even blame him. I would go out on top.
But yeah, that's pretty much the only positives of the game. Jalen and the core of guys that we're gonna have here. Obviously, it's more than just those 4, but like them like being the primary targets of this. Like it's nice to know that we'll have them. I mean, Devontae had a great game. I thought that there was a call that he should have gotten. which
AJ
we're gonna
Brown finally got
we're gonna
involved in
talk
a
about.
playoff game, which was nice to see.
AJ Brown is maybe he's one of the best in the league at doing this. I don't know exactly the name of the move, but like a feint catch where he's running. His touchdown in the game was a perfect example of this. He's running down the field, and the corner's eyes are on him. So the corner is waiting to see AJ react to the ball, and AJ is good at feinting like the ball is there to get the corner to bite, and then he continues his route. Which, watch his touchdown back. The corner AJ. Kind of motioned his arms like the ball was coming. The corner jumped a little bit, and AJ was able to take advantage of that and get right by him. He is like probably the best in the league at that move, or definitely like top 2. I don't really know. I have to look at who else is proficient at it. But
What stood out to me was a couple catches that Dallas Goedert made.
I was just about to say
I mean,
Dallas made some wonderful catches.
That dude was unbelievable.
The 3rd and 14
All
was to
hands
Dallas,
team.
I believe, right? It was a great throw and a great catch. I mean, Jalen put it right between 2 guys, and
Yeah.
Dallas was able to make that catch.
It was unbelievable. He had a great game.
He will be one of. I mean, not that he isn't already, but like easily one of the top
Dude,
3
he's
tight ends in the
he's
NFL
right up
going
there,
forward.
man. Like
Yeah, and
he's
him,
the best in
Kittle,
the league.
Kelsey, obviously. Kelsey might have solidified. I think Kelsey has solidified himself as maybe the best, but that's
there's
a
no
debate
doubt
for
about it.
another
He's-
day.
he's the
I
best.
get that there's Tony Gonzalez and there's Gronk, and I'm open to all those debates, but fucking Kelsey is good, man.
Nah, he's amazing.
He's basically just a gigantic wide receiver.
yeah.
Like that's he's just a fucking nut.
Yeah, so this is a positive.
That's why losing Tyreek Hill wasn't really. I mean,
this-
it was a big deal, but like
This next note is a positive / a negative. So I want to open this up by first, I want to bow down and give all the flowers in the world to my friend Pat O'Leary here because he was right.
oh, here we go.
Jonathan Gannon.
I hate
is a
that I was
fraud.
right.
He's a
Yeah,
fraud.
do you have the
and the positive aspect of this is that he's gone now.
Yes.
But the negative aspect of it is that he came out after the half and adjusted nothing. He didn't adjust anything. And listen, I'm gonna
So that's why he's a fraud.
yeah.
Not
you have to
his,
be able to adjust.
I was
not a
wrong.
record-breaking defense.
I was wrong. He did. I think the players bailed him out more than he.
Yeah, but
was
dude, he
responsible
said
for that.
things.
That's what I
that
was
we-
saying all year.
His
It's
scheme
the
was never
talent.
good.
But
I-
Gannon said things that we wanted to hear before a playoff game.
What that we're gonna
in
see
traffic.
afterwards? Yeah, fuck.
So I mean, you can't shit on that guy.
He went to Patrick Mahomes had 1 incompletion the entire second half.
yeah.
He only. I mean, dude, every fucking
No,
play.
he's trash. And
every-
wait a minute. We have been saying on the show
Well,
since
I've been
that
defending him.
Washington game, at least, that Jonathan Gannon is trash.
I've
I was
defended
the
him.
only one saying
I've
that.
defended him.
I was
But
saying it too, and I
I'm-
have a TikTok to prove it.
I'm giving O'Leary his flowers here.
Like, give him flowers.
Nothing was more frustrating than
I don't want your flowers.
Nothing was more frustrating than I feel like almost every pass. The camera when you're watching at home, you could see the ball in the pocket. Patrick Mahomes would drop back, and when he'd throw the ball, the fucking camera would follow, and I would see either Juju Smith-Schuster or Travis Kelce uncovered by 10 fucking yards.
Doo-doo, shit's poopster.
Obviously, I'm over-exaggerating with 10 yards, but like every single time.
Elite tweeter. though.
And listen, the first half, I'll give the Eagles this. I feel like Nick Sirianni and the Eagles coaching staff, for the most part, outcoached the Chiefs. But it was a slighter margin than the second half was.
Yeah,
where
the second
fucking
half was a disaster.
Andy Reid coached fucking circles around Jonathan Gannon and embarrassed him.
Nah,
what
totally.
should he, what was the adjustment then?
I'm not an NFL defensive coordinator.
Okay.
But all I know
Are
is
you?
this: when what you're doing
I'm just I want to know.
when what you're doing clearly isn't working, you got to do something
Do
else.
something else. Especially in
something else.
Dude, you're in the Super Bowl.
So one thing that definitely obviously has been posted everywhere
Try
has
man to
been
man.
no, well, obviously that, but the thing on like right in the goal line right there that Doug pretty much exposed them for with Jamal Agnew in the Jacksonville game. Obviously, Andy saw that and ran with it and literally did it twice. And for some reason, Jonathan Gannon didn't see it and didn't say, "Hey guys, when they run a jet sweep and they're on the 5-yard line, like stay with your man or don't do that bullshit we tell you
I
to
want
do."
to say this for everyone listening. I think that I can only speak for myself, but I think as a podcast, we've always prided ourselves on not being the analytic. We're coming to you from a fan's point of view. We're not like the crazy analytical guys. You want to listen to that? Turn on ESPN. Listen to some other Eagles Insider podcast.
Go do
So
some
I
math
don't
somewhere else.
have the answers on like what the exact adjustment should have been, but I do have the point that like when you're clearly not getting the best out of your players, you gotta change it up, like, and do something different. Try anything different. Blitz more. They only blitzed like twice, and I know both ended up in touchdowns, or at least one of them did. But like, you can't just not. You're clearly not getting any pressure, and you can blame that on the field because we'll talk about the field as one of the negatives of this game. both teams had to play on it, but clearly it was affecting the Eagles very much so. And you're not getting pressure with just
There was no
you know,
pressure on either quarterback all night.
all year. They kind of got by on not having the blitz because your main guys, your linemen, were getting there. This wasn't the case for this game. You send someone else. You had to do that, and he didn't do it. And then obviously, you could talk about, oh, well, in man, look what, Travis Kelce did to Marcus Epps. But, like, one play cannot deter you from, like, making certain adjustments. And I feel like Jonathan Gannon just came out and was like, fuck it. Jason Kelce said as much on their podcast today that they made no defensive adjustments. There was nothing. They made slight offensive adjustments in the second half. But as far as defensively, they went in with the same exact game plan. And you can say, well, yeah, it clearly worked in the first half. They were up by 10. When you see that it's not working, you got to change. I don't know exactly what the answer would have been. I'm not a fucking defensive coordinator, but like,
well, neither is Jonathan Gannon anymore.
yeah, well, now he's a head coach. Which, listen, I'm not gonna say he's like the worst defensive coordinator in the world because I don't believe that. I thought obviously I defended him for most of the year, but like I don't know what the Cardinals saw in him to make him their head coach. I really don't.
I don't know.
I think that's a bad hire.
He's one of those
and
guys
not
that-
just because I dislike him. I just don't think that I don't know. I don't think he's established enough to be a head coach yet. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take, but like, I feel like there's other guys. Like, I don't know the exact behind the scenes of this, but how has Eric Bieniemy not gotten a head coaching job yet? Does he not want
I
it?
genuinely think he wants to stay in KC
That,
till
that
Andy's
has
done.
to be the only
like
thing.
that's the only thing.
It's the
I
only
can
thing that
think.
makes sense because otherwise
It doesn't.
It doesn't. That would not make any sense that he hasn't gotten a job.
Yeah.
But like, so
racism.
Jonathan Gannon, you guys have been on his ass way more than me this year. I was very forgiving for a lot of the things. I overlooked a lot of stuff. I'm here to tell O'Leary I think he was right. I was wrong, and I think that
Oh
this
my
game
God.
proved it. On the
I
biggest
hate
stage,
that. I hate that this fucking game proved
Do we have
it.
the slurp soundbite or no?
I gotta give people their flowers, Seamus.
Oh,
You
it's
guys
all right.
gave me my flowers, but the Josh Allen thing.
Yeah, I gave you
So
dead
it was only
flowers.
right.
Yes, I did.
But while we're on the topic of the defense, like move on from Gannon a little bit. Let's talk about the field / the pass rush because obviously those two things were linked in this.
I honestly don't really want to harp on that much.
I don't
'cause,
want to
like,
harp on it.
I just find it ridiculous.
here's-
$800,000 for a
Yeah.
goddamn
2 years.
for goddamn fake grass. That doesn't even work.
A fucking waste. How much?
How's that a thing?
The biggest cold take exposed. I believe Oklahoma State tweeted out like their whole fucking like, look at this field we've been growing. Like they were taking a real victory lap about this. They called the guy that grew the grass the sod
Yeah.
father.
Oh my God!
That was
no!
so funny.
They called him the sod father.
They were
Yeah.
taking the biggest victory lap. Like it was a
Oh my
random like
lifelong Chiefs fan,
Like,
season ticket
yeah.
holder.
Oh, look how cool this story.
Let's put on the tinfoil caps for a second.
before
To
the
be fair,
game
though,
before the game starts. Look
that
how
turf
cool this
affected both
story is, and like yada yada yada, and then it ends up in disaster. So I will say this though to like preface this point we're about to make about the field. Both teams had to play on it. I agree. Our players said that. I think most of our fans have agreed with that. It affected both teams, but Jimmy Kempski did just tweet out a video like showing a bunch of like the Eagles pass rush moments where guys were slipping and falling, and like it would be wrong of me to not point out that clearly affected the Eagles heavily.
I think it's a disgrace that they had that those guys had to play the biggest game of their lives on a turf like that.
It's actually fucking insane. And
It's
yes,
not-
both
they-
teams had to deal with it,
They
so it's not the
both
reason
of
we
those
lost.
teams deserve better.
It's an absolute disgrace that on the biggest stage in the world, the NFL had a field like that.
It's
to
ridiculous.
play the fucking Super Bowl on, man.
Yeah, and guess what? They don't care. They don't care.
It's
Just like Roger Goodell doesn't care how Frank, what's his name, Chris Jones is the
Dude, I
quarterback.
have that written down, but I want to talk about that in 1 second. There's nothing really too much to say about this. Just like it sucks that our pass rush couldn't get involved more. You can a lot of people, you'll blame them like, oh, did Hassan Reddick even show up for the game? I definitely wasn't saying that as I had a bet on him to win Super Bowl MVP.
Well, I mean, he didn't, but
That's the
no,
thing,
he
though.
didn't.
Is
But
it-
there are reasons why
right,
he did.
Like, is it his fault? Is it any of their fault that they like? Go watch this video on Twitter that I just referred to if you want to see some of
Is that the
in-depth-
Josh Sweat and the Hassan Reddick
Yeah,
slipping
man.
at the same time? That was
Brandon-
so painful
Brandon
to watch
Graham
back.
was falling. I believe there was a
Brandon
Javon
Graham was
Hargrave.
falling.
I'm just saying, like, these guys were losing their footing under them. They were slipping left and right. And I'm sure that if there's a whole breakdown, a Chiefs beat writer could have made a whole breakdown of the times they slipped and fell. And they
Brandon Graham has
definitely
collapsed.
had slightly more success than the Eagles did getting there. But
The second Brandon
just-
Graham has hit the $800,000 turf.
just the fact that you have something like that and it negates a big, probably if you had to pick, the best like fraction of the Eagles team is their pass
I
rush.
hate fractions.
And it was negated. So that sucks to see. But what Pat just referred to a second ago, after the game, there was a
9/11.
Let's go, baby.
after the game.
Call Trill Bro Dude or
After-
whatever the hell his name is.
After the game, there was a really weird video of Roger Goodell like bear hugging Chris Jones,
Yeah.
saying that
Mounting
like,
him, some
basically-
might say.
basically
yeah, I mean
saying,
that was a sexually charged.
I'm pretty sure that
exchange.
his exact quote was, "You can hit the quarterback however you want."
Right.
Or as
No, it
hard
was,
as
I
you
don't
want.
care if you.
Yeah, he said,
I don't care how you hit the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not,
What is that?
I'm not putting. I'm not saying anything about that other than like it was just weird.
Dude, Roger Goodell makes Bud Selig look like good. You know what I mean? Like he's
I
just
don't.
he's so cringe.
Who's Bud Selig?
Yeah, all right, dude. Dude, there's a reason why this is a 3-man show. All right.
Not Taylor's got a mic now.
So stay,
Yeah, I got a mic. What do
stay
you
in your
mean?
lane. Stay in your lane.
No.
It was just that was a really fucking
Taylor, I don't
weird-
like your attitude.
Former
today.
MLB
Remember when
commissioner. is Bud
Seamus-
Selig.
Don't like the
It's
attitude.
hard to focus when all I can smell is your
now he's
very
gonna now,
very
all right.
strong cologne.
All right, well now I have to explain it. Sorry, Vince. I wanted you to do your thing today, okay? Because you're the Eagles guy. But he calls me out on national television, and he says I smell. It's Hugo Boss cologne.
I
all
didn't
right?
ask what it was.
And it's great cologne.
You put on way too much of it.
Well,
Whatever it is.
listen, I've gotten complimented by people. All right,
Is this true, Pat?
many people are talking.
Fuck, I don't know.
Many people are talking about it. But go ahead, Vince. I digress.
So
Taylor, come a little closer.
I was trying to think of like a good like transition line, but there really isn't one. So I'm just gonna go right into my next point.
Go ahead.
Anyway, the Chris Jones thing was just fucking weird. I don't really
You
have.
know,
like a-
he was probably wearing Hugo Boss cologne. That's probably why Goodell was hugging him so
I have a feeling
forcefully.
Goodell was wearing Hugo Boss cologne.
They might have both been.
I mean, not for nothing. He looks like he's well put together. For a commissioner.
Okay.
I'm just-
He's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, he is. He
Definitely
is,
worth
he
a
is.
lot of money.
Well, at least he doesn't have his face falling off like Jerry Jones. All right, go ahead.
He's an owner, not a commissioner.
That's
Yeah.
the same thing, dude. He's the commissioner of the Cowboys.
Anyway, this is kind of like just a stream of consciousness kind of thing. Like I'm not going in chronological order of the game. I wrote these notes as they came to me during like a pretty down bad. I think it was Tuesday. I was
were you
just
on
like,
any
I was
hallucinogens?
I was just upset thinking about the game.
Ayahuasca.
My next note here for negatives,
Dark
and
rooms.
this I feel like this one is bigger than
Natty
people
Daddy.
have made it out. Like this, people have not talked about this one enough. Quez Watkins drop.
He stinks.
No, that was
Well,
terrible.
He's horrible.
That was,
Go get Van Jefferson, please.
dude. That was really fucking bad.
Fantastic.
And like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Quez has to leave, but he can't be your wide receiver 3.
I don't ever want to see
I'd
him
take
play.
Pascal
I
over
don't
him.
ever want to see him play football
Like,
ever
straight up.
again for the Eagles. Never.
I disagree. With
And Jake agrees with me.
He's a bottom 5 wide receiver 3 in the
Thank
NFL.
you. He
I-
stinks.
No, I 100%. That's why I think he can
Listen,
stay on your
he's
roster
got
as a wide
he's got a
receiver
cool
4.
name. But other than that, I mean, what the hell does he bring to the table?
Well,
Speed.
he did bitch up who was it, Debo. So
All right, yeah.
I
I
did-
mean,
He's
that
he's
is
got
a
that. He's got that
victory.
Yeah.
dog.
Listen, all
By
I'm
the
saying-
way,
You
Debo's a
need-
total
you
enemy.
need a
now.
wide receiver 3 upgrade. I completely agree. I just wouldn't like hate having him as a wide receiver 4 who you like barely see on the field.
Like a
but,
Zach Pascal. type of guy.
essentially filling that
Pascal
role.
can block.
Yeah, I'd rather switch him.
No,
and
I
Pascal,
agree.
honestly.
I agree. I
Pascal
don't
actually
mind
catches
Pascal.
balls.
I don't mind him. He had a catch in the Super Bowl, I believe.
All I know is that fucking ball went right through his hands,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
He almost, yeah.
Such a bad.
He almost caught it though. to be
It's
fair.
one of those plays that like
He's such a bitch.
you can't.
He stinks, dude.
He literally
yeah,
is.
Jake.
He literally is.
I hate it.
I literally like fell to my knees when that happened because it was so
Yeah.
bad. Like it wasn't even one of those things where you're like, man, in hindsight, looking back, that Quinn
fell
Watkins
to your
drop really hurt.
knees.
It's like no, it fucking really, really hurt in the moment.
Well, the Jalen Hurts fumble hurt a little bit too.
Seamus, didn't
Oh.
you cry when the Phillies won the NL?
I cried when the Phillies
No, it
made
was
the
it was
playoffs for the first goddamn time. And how long have I been following that fucking dog
No,
shit
wait,
franchise?
no. Was it? No, it was after the
The wild card.
the wild
victory.
card
We
series.
yeah, we clinched and we went to the division series.
And you sat next to me and
Pat
sobbed
bought
for like
NLDS
30
tickets. There was
minutes.
a lot going on. I was an emotional wreck.
I'm just trying to back you up, Vince. That's all.
Thank you. No, like you said that when
Go
Jalen-
sit over there, then.
When that's another reaction I had when that ball fell into Jalen's hands. The last thing I saw was the like 3 Chiefs players closing in on the ball. I just turned around and fucking threw my hat like against the wall
Oh,
because
no.
I just knew it was a touchdown and there was no one there to stop it. I just fucking I was so mad. But that Quez drop, dude, had almost the same reaction. I was so furious at that. Like,
Yeah.
that's so bad. And then speaking of drops or catches or whatever you want to call them, Devontae's catch/drop right before halftime.
Yeah, yeah.
It's when did that Des Bryant thing happen? 2015, 2014?
Oh,
Whenever
fuck,
the-
it's longer
Remember,
than
dude.
that.
I think it was
2013?
2012.
Probably 2012 or 2013.
Well, okay. For a decade, the NFL has not figured out what a catch is.
No, I mean they have
That's
no
where
idea.
we're at with it. for a whole fucking decade, the NFL, which has become, the biggest, we're a passing league now. That's cool. You still don't know what a fucking catch is.
Yeah, it's a disgrace.
Yeah, that was a catch.
I mean,
It was a
dude,
catch.
in my opinion,
It was easily a catch.
In my opinion, I think that in 2017, that Boston Scott catch in the back of the end zone, I think
Corey Clement.
Corey Clement, sorry, Boston Scott, Corey Clement. They're
God
kind of the
damn
same
it,
guy.
Vince.
No, but Corey
Racist.
Clement's catch in the back of the end zone, where I think
Boston
they're
Scott is, different
I think
in height.
yeah, they're different people. I think they're ruling
Great
on
point.
that. I think their ruling on that being a catch was that he had possession of the ball, he adjusted the ball's position.
Well, I think it
but
was
he-
also the difference was he was in the end zone when he had possession, and at that point, it's just a dead ball.
Well, it also you have to
'Cause-
survive the ground for it to be a
Yeah,
catch.
so it's like weird
But
though.
I think
I don't know.
the reason why they went through
They
with it
don't
as a
know.
catch, if I remember,
They
is
don't
that,
know either. Yeah,
they have no
exactly.
clue.
he repositioned the ball, but he never lost possession of it. And I feel like Devontae did the same thing essentially. He repositioned the ball, but he never lost possession.
No, never.
And I think that's what a catch should be. If you move the ball and but if it's, do you get what I'm saying? Watch it back. I just think that
It was a catch.
And his knee and his elbow
Yeah.
landed before the ball even
Yeah.
came out.
Exactly right.
it was.
And you saw
bad.
the
No, I said live. I said it was I said, oh, that's the Corey Clement catch.
Yeah,
It was a catch then. It's a
Exactly.
catch now.
Yeah,
And then,
mhm.
That's a
and then
good
5
comparison.
minutes later,
As long as you
It's not a
don't,
catch.
as long
It's
as you
ridiculous.
don't lose possession of the ball, repositioning the ball in your arm should not negate a catch. In
No,
my
I
opinion.
agree with that.
And it's kind of just a fucking joke that again, I said the NFL. It's they're a passing league. All of their star players, their quarterbacks and wide receivers, they don't know what a catch is still, and it's been 10 years.
It's
You guys
annoying.
reminded me that it's been since 2012. So I mean that's just a joke. Devontae, I mean that catch not being a catch changes the whole game because right before halftime you could easily have scored another touchdown. That brings you right down. I forget exactly where the catch happened.
coulda-
but it was
they
well
coulda
within
scored-
Chiefs territory.
They could have scored 2 more times before halftime.
It really sucks. It's moments like that, looking back in hindsight, that make you say this is one of the moments where the game was lost, more so than just the penalty at the end, which I'm kind of saving that for last. We'll talk about.
Right.
The next thing on my list of negatives was Sayamalu's false start on 3rd and 1, which led to the Jalen Hurts fumble.
He's
So
been spending too much time at McGill.
we had a 3rd and 1 where the Eagles, I believe they lined up for their QB sneak to go for it on
Yep.
3rd and 1, and Isaac Sayamalu moved. And as Jake pointed out before the show, the fucking refs really didn't even notice it. The Chiefs players were vehemently pointing it out, and then the back judge threw a flag. That whole play was a mess, and it's kind of corny that the refs didn't even see this, but Isaac Sayamalu, man, what are you doing?
Don't let the door hit you.
What
By the way, he's a free agent, I
happened,
think, isn't he? Isn't he one of the free agents?
Yes.
All right,
He-
go.
he
go
won't be coming
go
back.
get a bag somewhere.
I'm pretty
else.
sure he said a couple weeks
Go
ago
to
they
Chicago.
won't be able to afford him. So
Go to the
he's-
Bears.
Yeah, he's gone.
he's very good.
He is
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
He is
it's great.
really good.
I would never deny that.
I don't
Isaac
like
Sam-
him. I never liked
Bro,
him.
he was the 3rd best
Don't
at his
like him.
position in the league this year.
His hair bothers me.
Is that it?
I would never say just because of one play he's not good, but dude,
He's going to make a lot of money,
You
though.
cannot make
somewhere.
mental errors like that in this game, in that moment,
It was
because
the grass.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can you can
Exactly.
say whatever,
It's the turf.
maybe Jalen would have fumbled anyway, blah blah blah. On the next, it doesn't matter. What ifs don't matter. All I know is that that's an inexcusable pre-snap penalty, and those are again the kind of things that shoot you in the foot in these kinds of games. Pre-snap penalties, which there weren't that many of them, so the rest of the fucking team and even the Chiefs for the most part knew better than to get those types of penalties. And you have Sayamalu jumping on a play that they've run a million times.
That's
Yeah,
the
it's
part
annoying.
that hurts. It's
Sucks.
that's a play that is almost always guaranteed with that offense.
It was the anxiety, man. The Super Bowl anxiety. It's a real thing, bro.
Sure. I mean, yeah. It just
Trust me, I've been there.
It
man.
really
It's-
sucks to have to
it's rough.
reap the.
Well, that's when you just start
consequences of
heavily drinking.
Yeah, you got to start.
That's exactly what I did in the 4th quarter.
You got
That's
to
when
start
I-
heavily drinking.
That's when so I was drinking Bud Light the whole time, and then I switched to RBVs in the 4th quarter because I was freaking the fuck out.
When did
The RBV is a strong item when you're with Cassidy. All right, so that's a
Me
strong.
and him started. We finished a lot of vodka.
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
when did you know it was a wrap?
the game.
Yes.
I
Oh,
thought
the
well,
flag.
the flag.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that.
Okay.
There was
Why?
a-
When did you know?
let's transition into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk about it.
Well, yeah, it was going to be the Bradbury hold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like
And by the way, him coming out and saying that I held him is ridiculous.
no, it's not.
No,
It's
I don't.
It's not.
I-
That
I-
is not a ridiculous
I
thing.
don't. I don't like it at
Seamus,
all.
it's not like if he
What?
said he didn't
I don't
do
like
it, they
it.
were gonna go back and.
I would
change
just
it.
say no comment. That's it.
Sure.
I don't like. I
disagree.
don't like him saying that.
It's accountability.
Why?
I just don't like it. I think
Oh,
it's a bad look.
this is also the guy
Give
that
me a
doesn't like
reason
how
other
Alec.
than
Wait,
you
wait,
just
wait,
don't
wait,
like
wait.
it.
This is also the guy that didn't like how Alec Boehm handled the whole situation and then got a standing
No,
ovation.
I
the
didn't.
next
No, I
day.
liked how he
Seamus
handled
doesn't like
this. No,
accountability.
Yeah,
Don't put words in my mouth.
Seamus would have said,
no,
the opposite if he said no
No,
comment.
I said I like the way Alec Boehm handled that situation. I think it's stupid, capital S stupid, to give the guy a standing ovation in his next at bat.
Showed accountability.
Because he got caught,
People like
and he had to
accountability.
say that. He had to say that.
He
all
showed
right?
accountability.
Big Boom guy.
Don't give me the whole standing ovation is smart.
But with Bradbury,
It's not.
With Bradbury, it's not like if he didn't say that, they were going to go
Put that in
back
your
and
pipe
give
and
him the
smoke it.
call.
No, I agree.
I mean,
I wouldn't have said it. I would have been like, no comment.
The game was over at that point. Like, very obviously, it sucks because, like, I said earlier, the moment was not too big for Jalen at all. So, like, that 100% leads me to believe that Jalen was going to lead us on a drive down the field to either tie or win the game or whatever the situation might have been, depending on what the Chiefs do.
Instead,
there.
he got 6 seconds to chuck it.
Yeah, and so, like, my whole thing with
His arm strength is in question now because
that
of
was
that last
crazy.
round.
Can you imagine if his arm just fell off?
He was tripped.
with 6
No, no, no.
seconds left.
I just thought it was hilarious that I literally saw someone tweet that. I literally saw someone tweet.
He
I'm
was
kind
tripped.
of questioning Jalen's arm strength after that last throw. It's like,
you know what?
sir, are you blind? I was fucking half drunk and I saw him trip.
Who was that? Chuck in Mount Airy tweeted that out or some
Bro, I
shit
have
like
no
that?
fucking clue.
Yeah,
I just saw
probably.
it and I was like, this guy's a fucking moron.
Lots of those.
The call itself, like, yes, James Bradbury held Juju Smith-Schuster on that play. There is no denying that.
No, it's a
But
soft call.
But
It's a
exact,
soft call.
I agree. If you would let me
Ball
finish,
was
I was going to say
uncatchable.
that.
I'm just adding to the
Like,
conversation.
Jesus Christ.
Like 100%, it
Where?
was a soft ass call, and like it's ticky tack because you weren't calling it the whole game. There's video proof of James Bradbury holding someone else in that game way more egregiously than Juju in that play, and it didn't get called. I just said there weren't many penalties in this game. The Chiefs O-line got away with plenty of holds because I saw a video. I'm sure that there's a video of the Eagles getting away with a ton of holds also. They let the guys play for the most part. Not even for the most part. For the whole game, they let them play. And then to say on the last play, like the deciding play of the Super Bowl, the biggest fucking moment of the whole entire year of football, and you're like, now is the time to call a pretty soft holding call on James Bradbury that decides the game.
Yeah, it's annoying
It's,
because
it's weak, man. It's not the reason we lost.
that
I'm not
call.
gonna make that
Yeah,
excuse,
but also,
it's
dude,
fucking weak.
forget if we win or lose that game. That ref robbed
Yes.
us of watching
He
an
robbed the
unbelievable
whole football world of probably an electric
possibility.
finish of
Yeah.
that game. Because yes, there's no guarantee that the Eagles, like I just said, I had faith.
But dude, either way, it would have been way more
yeah,
entertaining.
I have faith Jalen would have led us on a drive, but I have no like. You can't just say that you don't know what would happen.
But dude,
Anything
that
can
game
happen.
was
But
so good. Like
even
overall,
if the Eagles would have lost, like you at least give Jalen a chance to like have his moment and like.
Which is what-
take it to overtime.
which is
even.
what every NFL fan wanted to see that night.
Exactly.
For the Eagles to have a chance to go back down the field.
It's like imagine if like you just have a movie that the whole movie it's like a 10 out of 10. It's great.
Yep.
Great fucking
Passion
great
of the
acting,
Christ.
great
Yep.
score, all this shit. It's an amazing movie, but then the ending is just so anticlimactic and it sucks.
Yeah, Rising from the Dead's just doesn't do it for me. Sorry,
no
Mel
one's
Gibson.
talking about the Passion
Oh,
of the
okay.
Christ.
That's the only 10 out of 10 movie I know.
Apocalypto?
Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell and Mike Ditka.
With
Up
who?
there. Will Ferrell and
Will
Mike.
Ferrell.
Will Ferrell and Mike Ditka. Is that better, Dan Baker?
I feel like if you did Ditka, it'd be a lot better. Try
I
that
wish it
again.
was Dicka.
Okay.
You smell great though.
Thanks, man.
Um,
Can you smell
Yeah,
it from
yeah. At
over
least he
there?
smells good.
You
Yeah,
think the
Jake's
other-
got the subdued
You
version.
think the people upstairs could smell me?
100%.
Let's bring
I
them
hope
down.
so.
Tower, go grab.
What is Taylor the errand boy now?
He lives
You
here.
dropped your vape pen.
That would be my dad pen. There's a difference.
you always put me in positions to make the most awkward transitions back into what we were talking about. And like I can't do it.
Hey,
I'm not
listen,
talented
it's
enough.
what I get paid for, dude. I get paid to do this.
Anyway, it's not the reason we lost. There's a long laundry list of reasons we lost, shooting ourselves in the foot plenty. It was just a great game, and it kind of came down to the first team that would make a mistake. And unfortunately, the Eagles had that fumble that became a touchdown, and that was the only real huge mistake by either team.
But
So-
I'll tell you what, I like your analysis of this game in all seriousness because alls I'm hearing and alls I'm seeing is Jonathan Gannon, which is true, right? Like he deserves some blame. He deserves
He deserves
arguably the
plenty of
bulk,
blame,
the
yeah.
bulk of the blame. You can argue, but there are other things.
good amount.
But there are other things in that game. A lot of other factors that went into them losing that game.
Yeah.
By players, coaches,
you never
you name it,
There's,
turf.
There's never.
It's
one,
not just one reason. to
There's
lose a game.
never ever been one reason a team
No,
loses.
and
a
it's
game.
okay to criticize players. I mean, I think the city has a hard time criticizing players in games like this. The whole thing is Jonathan Gannon, Jonathan Gannon, Jonathan Gannon. Well, you could dig a little deeper and maybe rewatch the game and figure out that, hey,
I
listen,
never want to rewatch.
there
that
are a
game.
lot of
Nope.
things.
Yeah.
Not doing
You
it.
won't rewatch it?
There are
No.
other things that also went
Why
wrong.
the fuck would I rewatch that, Taylor?
Does
Yeah.
he? Does he? I don't
No.
know the things that could have been different.
I never
No.
rewatched the 2017 game.
I
either.
will.
Oh,
rewatch
dude,
it
I
at some
rewatched
point.
the 2017 game like 3
I'm a
times
one
a
and
year
done.
at least.
I've only rewatched the Phillies World Series game once because I was forced to, like in '08, the game 5. So I don't go back and like watch full games.
I like to
Okay.
rewatch. I like to rewatch classic games.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll probably rewatch the Super Bowl. Like I don't know when though, because like I'm it's gonna take a while for me to get over it. But like you were just saying, you know, about the blame and shifting it to, I do think Gadden probably deserves more than any specific player, just because like
I agree with that.
The pass, it's kind of, I don't know how exactly to properly critique the pass rush because of the field. I don't like know what to like if I
And
blame them,
there's an example of another factor.
yeah, I mean, if I blame them too much, it's like, is it unfair because they were slipping and falling all over the fucking place, which is, that's on the NFL. That's a fucking disgrace by them. I've already covered that. But, like,
2 years,
Yeah.
$800,000 for
800,000.
fucking what, dude?
Dude,
Absolutely nothing.
I could have gotten
Dog shit.
I could have gotten
The Sodfather needs to be fucking dethroned and killed.
Dude, $800,000 would have netted me 2 more Bruce Springsteen tickets so Jake and Taylor can come with us. I mean, think about like the other ways you could spend that money.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like, it was like, I was kind of, when that flag got called, that was one of the biggest, like, shifts from excitement to despair very quickly because I erupted when we got that stop. I was like, holy fuck,
Of
here we go,
course.
this is it. And then you see that fucking flag come in,
And you knew it was over.
At that,
The game was over.
so in that moment, I was numb because again, I told you the people in the room didn't care about football that much, other than me and my cousin's boyfriend. So everyone was like calling me negative because I was like, well, that's the fucking game, and they were all like, come on. I was like, no, like literally the game is over now.
You don't know sports.
Like-
go back to
like
talking.
the game
go
is-
back to playing Monopoly in the corner.
Like the game is over now. Like
Yeah.
So it didn't. All the emotions finally hit me when I saw the ball hit the ground. Obviously, in that moment where the penalty was thrown, I was more numb, and then when Jalen's pass hit the ground, I just fucking.
Now let me ask you
I
this.
was drunk. I just fucking fell on my ass.
were
on
you
the floor
were,
and just
were you
cried.
were you crying?
I
Like
cried.
was it serious like actual
No,
tears?
it was not sobbing. But
All
no,
right, it was not
there were
sobbing.
tears.
All right, because friend of the show Dan McGuckin was sobbing. And, all right,
The only
I-
reason I wasn't
I can't
sobbing is
relate
because I
to
didn't
that.
want to embarrass myself
can't
in
relate
front
to
of
that.
all the people because I didn't know all of them. But I shed some tears for sure.
when that game ended, I was more in a state of shock.
Yeah.
I was in a state of shock, and I didn't drink. I just watched the game. So that's even worse. I just watched the game.
O'Leary said he started getting very drunk in the fourth. My very drunk moment was when the Chiefs scored their first touchdown out of halftime. That was when my drink. I
That's
started
pretty
taking
bad,
some.
yeah.
I started taking some tequila shots.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you mix in the liquor?
Oh yeah, that was when
always the move.
That was when I started getting really drunk. So by the end of the game,
Nothing
I was
bad
pretty
happens.
fucked up. The moment that I almost cracked and almost I don't know the word. I almost fell into like full on sobbing.
you
Was
could
when
say
I was
collapsed.
I was sitting next to my girlfriend and I was like, there were a couple tears, but I was like drunk. And I was like the Eagles mean more to me than most people in my life.
Yeah, including you. I hope you said.
I almost. That was when I
I hope
almost.
you said I don't give a damn about you compared to the
that
Eagles.
was when I almost cracked up and started like crying for real, but I
Yeah.
didn't. I held my composure.
You don't want to embarrass yourself in front of Sarah.
No, and then do you want to hear something? For all of my, we're not going to spoil anything, but for all of my The Last of Us fans, I'm not going to say anything. But
By the way, don't worry, I won't spoil this. I don't watch shows based on video games.
after the
all good.
game, me and my
Let that
girlfriend
be
were
known.
trying to find something to take our minds off the game, so we watched episode 5. Yeah, that was a mistake.
No,
But I
don't.
won't say anything more about that.
Yeah, please
But-
don't. Let's save that for the other goddamn podcast.
It was really fucking depressing, and like, I don't know. For final thoughts on the game, like, my final thoughts are that
The Eagles lost?
I'm in the middle of two different points. Let's all get our final thoughts in here for a
All right.
second. I'm in between two planes of thought. Yes, this team has a bright future, and like, this team has a bright future, and like the pieces are there. My opening point about positives was that we have a core that's young and it's going to be here for a while. But also, like, it's not easy to make the Super Bowl, man. It's not. In 2017, we all thought how bright the future was. Carson Wentz. Things go wrong. Listen, Jalen Hurts right now, I believe in him. He's my franchise quarterback. I think he's at least a top 4
I go
quarterback
top
in the
3.
NFL right now. I think at least, you could argue. I think Josh Allen's still over him until he has like one more season.
Carson
like
Wentz,
this.
light. Josh Allen.
No, yeah, I got
Is Josh Allen?
No,
He stinks, dude.
I think
not
that-
in my opinion.
I think
no.
Is he?
He gives the
he's
ball away
trash.
too much. To
He's
the-
done.
In my opinion, Jalen needs one more good season before he can like become top 3.
I agree with that. I do think
he's
though,
number 4.
if he won the Super Bowl, I would put him in top 3.
Right now, I would go Mahomes, large gap, Burrow, Allen, Jalen, and then Justin Herbert. That would be mine. But my point is that, yes, things look bright right now, but like anything could happen. No one ever predicted Carson's storyline here. And I'm not saying that that'll happen with Jalen, but like it's something you have to consider. Jalen could tear his ACL and never be the same, or
Don't you put that on me.
or have a contract dispute and just
You put
want
that
out.
evil
Like,
on me.
That's not happening.
I'm just saying you
They're
have to be
throwing old
prepared
money
for
at
anything, and like things like this happen, man. The future looks bright all the time. Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl very young. Things looked bright. Everyone said, "Oh, he'll be back." They never went back.
They never went back.
Like again, I'm not trying to be the negative Nancy, but I'm in between on like being the Debbie Downer that's saying we're never gonna make it back, and also the people that are kind of just like, "Ah, fuck it, we'll be here again." Like you
Listen,
don't know that.
I think the smart way to analyze this is they squandered a prime opportunity with this current roster, right?
I agree.
They didn't go out and execute when they had their best chance.
To wrap
all right?
up my final thoughts, and I'll let you guys get yours out. I think last week or the week before we talked about how the difference between great teams and or teams that get remembered and teams that don't is the Super Bowl. One day, this is assuming I would listen. If the Eagles don't win a Super Bowl within the next 2-3 years, I'm gonna never forget about this. If they win one in the next couple years, this will be easier to swallow. But we will, assuming they don't win any, one day we will look back on this team the same way we do on 2004. We will all be like, wow, what a team. They were beasts. Maybe the best, most talented Eagles team and best roster we've ever seen. Outside of Philadelphia, though, no one will remember this team. It won't matter. They didn't win the championship. They will be the losers. They lost.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's the same way 2004 went. They are not remembered by anyone not in Philadelphia because all they did was lose. No matter how, and they were a great
Niners
team.
fans will remember this team.
Niners fans
Oh, yeah,
will
they
be up
will.
at night thinking about this team because they'll still be mad about it.
Debo doesn't like us.
Oh,
We don't care.
and then
I actually don't give a fuck
real
what he
quick,
thinks.
passionate fucking rant by me real quick. Any person in Philadelphia after the Eagles lost Super Bowl that went out to Broad Street and lit up fireworks and was dancing,
They're
and
going to
smiling,
jail tonight.
Fuck.
Throw them in jail.
Fuck all of you.
Listen.
You're all losers. I don't respect any of you,
No.
and you're clearly all Fugazi fans because when the Eagles
No, Fugazi.
when the Eagles lost, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to jump off of the nearest high enough building that would kill me.
I wanted a cigarette.
I wanted
man.
to die. I wanted to drink
I
myself.
think Pat's a little more rational there.
I just
No.
wanted a fucking
I wanted to
cigarette
die.
after that game.
So the fact that there are people
Die
that
of
could,
lung cancer?
the fact that people that could go out
That's
there
too
and
long, though.
party and celebrate after that blows my fucking mind. And it just I'm all be a bandwagon fan if you fucking want, but it just pisses me off when clearly people like us care so much. And some people just don't give a fuck, and they just do it for the aesthetic of being.
But that's
like,
the
"Oh, I'm an
thing,
Eagles
dude.
fan."
The last thing I wanted to do after watching that game was celebrate.
I wanted to curl up in a ball.
I mean,
and drink myself. To
I
death.
couldn't celebrate even if I tried.
It reminds me. I got taken back to what game did you guys go to for the Phillies? Game 5.
Game 5.
That game ended in pretty traumatic fashion.
How'd
I
The
that
was-
go?
robbery at the bank.
I was at the bar.
The
I was-
bank robbery.
I was at the bar watching that game, and after it ended, 5 minutes after, everyone was drinking and celebrating. Asked my girlfriend. I was bashing my head against the table
Right.
because I was so fucking.
No,
I
saw-
was just so mad.
I think she put
What?
you doing that on her Instagram story or
I
something.
couldn't enjoy the rest of the night. I was furious.
Yeah,
I question
mean,
your girlfriend for not telling you to stop. But
Well, she's a
documenting.
I
nurse, so
sat-
she could have taken
I
care
sat
of
like
it.
this
Yeah.
for probably. I have a picture of it. I'll literally pull it up.
I
but,
believe you. Don't worry.
It
You don't have
was-
to pull it up.
It's not a picture of
Don't
me
get me
bashing
started
my
on
head.
that
It's a
goddamn
picture of
game.
me sitting there. Here it is.
Trey
There-
Mancini makes the
Just
play
I
of his
sat
life.
in this position for probably 20 minutes while everyone else enjoyed themselves because I couldn't get over it. And I like the Phillies. I love the Phillies, but I feel even stronger about the Eagles. So I couldn't even fathom doing anything that would bring me any type of. Nothing could have brought me joy in that moment.
Well, it's funny you bring up the Phillies because I talk about them sometimes, and people are comparing.
Anyway, I passed the ball to you guys for your.
I'm
final
just saying,
thoughts now.
people are comparing this Eagles loss to the Phillies loss,
Not
which is
even
not even
close.
close to being
No.
comparable. The Phillies loss in the World Series was actually I cared, but I was like, oh my god, look at
Yeah.
the run that they gave us.
I
Yeah, it
hate
was
this
insane.
phrase, but in a way, they were just kind of happy to be there. I
Mhm.
wish they would have won and
I
all
mean,
that.
the
but,
fan base was happy to be there. I don't think
They
the
were
players
playing with
the
fucking
players
house money, dude.
Obviously wanted to win.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't mean the players were okay with
Yeah.
losing, but we weren't supposed
We
to
ain't
be
losing.
there. We went on a hot run, whereas this Eagles team was the best team, the
Yeah,
most dominant team
it's-
all year. This is way worse.
It is so much worse. And as far as
They were the betting favorites.
worst losses in the history of Philadelphia, I think we witnessed that on Sunday. in the history of Philadelphia sports.
Probably number 2. I mean,
I
Joe
think
Carter's
it's number.
home
Joe
run.
Carter's was not as devastating as this.
I get that it they weren't supposed to be there, but the way they lost was pretty devastating.
They lost on a walk-off home run because the manager was an idiot. And
I
put
think
in,
this is-
Wouldn't it be more if they got blown out though?
the manager was an idiot and put in washed Mitch Williams,
mean,
who was cooked.
I
No,
think
was cooked.
I think the worst loss was the Union loss.
Oh my
or-
God.
That I mean, honestly, if
Honestly.
you really want to put it up there, that's probably the biggest
That was
kick in the
horrific.
balls.
Don't start
but
with me.
I don't
But nobody
care.
really cares about the Union. They don't.
So that doesn't qualify
they
as Philly
provoked.
sports.
They provoked
Not
Gareth
really.
Bale for
They
no
play in
reason.
Westchester or Chester, wherever the hell they play. They're not even playing the city. All right.
Listen, I think it's
Play
right up
Delco,
there with
baby.
like the
Delco.
Kawhi shot. It's up there with the Kawhi shot, and
It's
up
worse
there
than the
with
Kawhi shot.
The Hawks series.
It's 100% worse. Than
Oh, I don't know. That Kawhi shot still.
The
like,
Hawks series was.
It's worse.
The Sixers just fucking.
This is
blew
Yeah.
it.
this
The-
is a
the Kawhi-
championship that you
yeah,
you
but
lost.
I don't think you understand. You weren't like a big Sixers
It's
fan.
a
at the
champ.
time.
There's a difference between losing a championship.
I agree with Shane.
All right. It's
And losing in the
it's only if
playoffs.
Seamus cares. It's not.
Yeah,
Philly
that's
sports.
facts.
I-
You're
I'm
100%
no.
right, Taylor.
I'm just explaining to you a different.
I do agree though.
opinion.
I think a loss.
And the tolerant left at it again, Taylor.
I think
Bullshit.
a loss in the second round is not as harmful as a loss.
I mean,
It's not
I don't
a
know. For
championship.
me, like that Kawhi shot is just something
Yeah.
that pains me to my core.
yeah.
I think the
Like
I think
That's
the
where
best
my
way to-
Sixers fandom
The
died.
best way to summarize it is like that was a more shocking moment.
That was shocking.
But, like,
so was the Joe Carter home run.
I literally think that I got nearly the same feeling when that flag went up on that hold as
Yeah.
when Kawhi's bucket went in. Like I got almost the same feeling.
I'll give you that one too. Yeah.
Like that.
I don't know.
It
Confetti
sucked all of the
gate was
joy
pretty
out
good
of
too. I didn't like
that
confetti.
was- that was
I was
funny.
at a bar watching that, and I was literally. I didn't even know what the hell happened.
Confetti
All I
gate-
saw was that little Italian guy
Looking
shoot
back
the
in
thing.
hindsight, Confetti Gate is one of the funniest things.
It's
that's happened.
fucking hysterical.
It is hilarious.
Marco Bellinelli.
Yeah,
Marco
the
Bellinelli.
goat.
Did anybody ever get fired for that?
Probably.
Yeah, they should have.
Did anybody in the city of Philadelphia think the Sixers were going to go on to win that game after that?
No.
No.
No,
they had no
way.
chance.
They
had no chance
That was
whatsoever.
the easiest. Like they're 100% losing.
No, yeah. That was
But
the easiest.
Anyway, to get back,
By the way,
you guys get your final
Real
thoughts
quick
on about the Super
though,
Bowl.
Doc Rivers is also to blame, so put that in your notes for guaranteeing a Super Bowl.
Oh,
fuck,
this is
you
true.
I mean, it's the
Ah,
Doc
true.
Rivers.
Good
It's
callback.
the Doc Rivers curse. He's at it again.
That was
And-
actually the first thing I said after
and
we
I-
lost
and
the
I
game.
did-
Yeah,
Fuck.
I literally stood there and I was
I
like,
didn't even think about that.
I turned to Evan and I was like, Doc Rivers guaranteed this shit.
But I've
didn't
been
he?
very nice to Doc Rivers this season because I think he's done a good job, like an okay job,
He
whatever.
deserves blame for this though.
But he deserves blame
Yeah,
for the
he's a fucking
goddamn
asshole.
Eagles loss.
I fucking hate that
Pat,
guy.
And
I wanna
he
hear
and I
your
don't
final
and I
thoughts.
don't like that. Real quick about Doc Rivers, I don't like how pompous he is. But I'll leave it at that.
That's random. But hey, I love.
Would
Doc.
you-
Hey, I've
wait,
been around
would
the
you-
block. Okay.
Would you say that to Pop?
Would you say that to Pop? I mean, dude, he thinks that we owe him something.
No,
Money.
I mean, honestly, like that Eagles game, I think it still hasn't really fully hit me yet
It hasn't hit me yet.
because like I got a bunch of shit going on this week that I'm really excited about. So it's like
Yeah. Pat bought a yacht. And yeah, he bought like a party yacht, and we're all invited.
no, okay.
Seamus loves just completely side swiping all conversations.
Yeah. Once he's not interested.
Yeah.
Nice yacht.
But no, I mean, it really hasn't hit me at all. And I was so fucking drunk after it. I literally just stood outside like numb as fuck
Yeah.
for like an hour, and like asking people walking by for cigarettes. People probably thought I was homeless
Yeah,
because
probably.
I literally was just standing outside like, hey,
No, they're like, Schwarb's
You
got to
have
get
any
down to
cigs?
fucking Clearwater. man. Jesus
I did the same
Christ.
thing. I grabbed my vape and I went and sat on my cousin's porch for like 20 minutes with
Yeah.
just in silence.
Yep.
Because I was down bad.
Did you eat anything good? though?
I actually, you
At
know
the
what's
Super Bowl
another?
party?
Hold on, I'll get into that real quick. One other
Jesus
moment.
Christ.
There was nothing worse too. Like the second worst feeling of the night after seeing the flag fall was when I went outside to smoke this vape on the porch to wallow in self pity for 20 minutes. The eerie silence, because I thought at that time and at that moment when I walked outside when the game ended, I would be hearing pots and pans and
Yep.
fireworks and
Yep.
cheering. And
Well,
eagles.
by
Oh,
the
you
way,
didn't hear the
There were
fireworks?
fireworks.
I
and
heard
which
the
is
fireworks.
Also,
I didn't
also
hear
a
them.
violation.
I didn't hear them. But like, what I'm saying is, when I thought earlier in the day, oh, I'm gonna take my first walk outside of my cousin's house after the game ends, I expected to walk out into a sea of joy and happiness, and instead there was just this eerie silence that made me think like so deeply about how this hurt me so badly.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. I thought that at that time I would be somewhere deep on Broad Street trying to link up with Pat and being drunk and
not
being
Seamus.
ignorant and just dancing
God
around,
forbid.
climbing poles. Well, I don't know where you were, so I wouldn't have been able to find you.
It was
on
in
Broad Street.
Ballackinwood, dude.
So I wouldn't have been able to find you on
Exactly.
Broad
Yeah,
Street. is
yeah.
basically what I'm
Word.
saying.
Were you in Westchester? Is that what you
I
just
was
said?
on Broad.
No.
I was at my cousin's on Broad Street.
Oh,
So I wouldn't have been able to find you there, which was my point.
all right.
But
Just be careful.
I thought that at that time I'd be somewhere deep on Broad Street partying with Pat, and instead I was in tears thinking about how I want to no longer live.
Well, that's okay. Spring training pitchers and catchers tomorrow, so let's go.
I'm very excited.
I
for
actually
that.
am excited. for that.
By the way, after today's show, we are a Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Until further
yeah.
notice,
Perfect time for Taylor to leave.
because
Yep. See
guess
ya.
what? The Sixers are going to do their thing. The Sixers are going to like go on like little insane winning streaks, and then we
Lose
can't
the first or
really
second
and then
judge
what?
them.
And then what?
We
Wait,
can't really
wait.
judge them until the playoffs.
Oh
We
my
can't.
He's so
We-
close.
we-
He's so close.
I'm not there yet, Vince, but I'm goddamn close after that. And I blame the Eagles. The Eagles are like, oh my god, the Sixers are just gonna fuck up in the first or second
Well, you want
round.
to talk about the Sixers?
Let's talk about the Sixers. Fuck it.
Hold on. The Sixers didn't help by saying the day after, like, you know what? We'll solve this city's pain. Dwayne Dedman.
Oh my god, dude!
When they announced that, I was just like, "Come on,
Hold on.
man!"
The last football point I want to make before because I do want to talk a little bit about basketball and the Sixers real quick. Patrick Mahomes I think at this point, like
Kermit?
I think you can argue like he will never, ever win 7 championships. But like
Ever?
maybe it's a very low possibility. But like
I think you might.
he's better than Tom Brady, right? Like we
Yes.
can all
Nah,
just
because
say it.
Hurts is going to win
10,000%.
Yeah,
He's
all right.
he's a
than
way
Brady.
better player.
He's better.
I mean, listen, objectively speaking, he's
He's got a better
He
personal
had a
life, too, it
legacy
seems.
moment on Sunday. He got hurt. He came in
thought you
injured.
hate his
He
fans.
got hurt, and he went out there.
He
and
likes
did
them.
what he had to do to win his team the game. Like that's a legacy moment. He had. You'll look back on this moment in his career, and like he just makes.
He won't
throws-
remember it because he was on so many
He was
fucking
on so many
drugs.
perks. Yeah, he makes plays Brady can never
Shout out
make.
to Toro.
He makes plays Brady can never make with both
Twitterella.
with both his arm and his feet. Like he just is better. Will he ever be as great as in like achievements? I doubt it.
Will
'cause
his voice
7
ever change? We don't know.
7 championships is a lot, but here's some, in 5 seasons in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, 5 division titles, 5 AFC championship appearances. I'm pretty sure they've hosted 4 in a row or
Yeah,
all 5.
he hasn't missed a
Yeah.
conference championship since he started.
5 12-win seasons, 2 Super Bowls, and
That's
2
pretty
Super
good.
Bowl MVPs
That's
in
that's
5
pretty good.
years. And he's only 27.
Yeah.
He's going to dominate the league for a while. I don't know how many rings he's going to win, but like and it sucks with the whole Chiefs thing because like when we beat the Patriots, it was so like cathartic because fuck the Patriots, fuck Tom Brady.
And 0405.
I don't hate the Chiefs at all. Like I hate Juju, which we could talk about in a second.
he's
but
a
like
fucking douchebag.
for the most part,
I thought it was funny.
I
The tweet-
vehemently
the tweet.
enjoy. Like I very much enjoy watching Patrick Mahomes play. I like Travis Kelce. I think he's a cool dude. I like his podcast with Jason. I think he's a funny dude. He's like I enjoy all of these guys. I like Andy. I know there's a large faction of the city that doesn't, but
Which is totally unwarranted.
I started becoming a second. Like the Chiefs were obviously never in this game, but like I kind of root for the Chiefs when they play in the AFC because I like to see Andy succeed. So like it sucks like not being able to like wrap my sadness and turn that into hate towards the Chiefs.
yeah, I
but, like,
understand what you're saying.
I enjoy them, which sucks because I want to just be able to be like fuck them, but I'm not like
But
that.
you can't.
But we can key in on one player, Juju Smith-Schuster,
Yeah.
who decided to take to Twitter to share a troll.
I thought it was
A
hilarious.
troll. Objectively speaking, it was funny,
It was
but it was
funny.
also so unprompted. But he tweeted, "I'll hold you when it matters most." A Valentine's card with James Bradbury, and then the fucking whole NFL basically came together to collectively say "fuck Juju."
Yeah.
They all must hate him because no one came out in support of him except Mahomes.
He didn't even come out in support of him.
He
He
just
just,
said
he
that
just
man-
was
He
throwing
did it.
shade at Tyreek. That's all he did.
Yeah, exactly. Because Tyreek Hill made a couple comments saying that Juju was trying to play the victim after. Well, let's talk about what after.
NFL players are insane on Twitter.
AJ Brown
Yeah,
made
it's
a
They're
awesome.
absolutely nuts.
AJ
fucking
Brown made a
awesome.
tweet
Yeah.
saying congratulations, but he called him TikTok boy and said Patrick Mahomes revived your career and you're not good. And pretty much everybody pointed out how he had more TikToks and touchdowns this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
CJGJ said he had more interceptions than Juju had touchdowns,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
also true.
Yeah, it's very true.
the thing that makes no sense to me is I feel like sometimes players or sometimes the media also, they try to manufacture like drama or beef. And this feels so manufactured because after the game, every single Eagles player and Eagles staff member said we deserve to lose. We shot ourselves in the foot. They were the better team. James Bradbury admitted to holding him. They all gave respect to the Chiefs. and Juju still decided to take shots. For what reason?
Because he lives for drama.
Because
He's
he
what
li-
he's
yes.
literally what
And
TikTok
hangs-
for.
he
I mean,
hangs out-
Insecurity.
he hangs out with all the
20-year-olds
yeah.
in TikTok houses. So yes,
Yep.
he lives for the drama. I just don't get it because like I would get it if like James Bradbury threw some shade and said I didn't do this, or the Eagles were like, oh, this was the
if he
reason
didn't
we
own up
lost.
to it, yeah.
The Eagles completely were
He
one
did
of
what I asked him to
the
do.
Eagles were about as gracious in a loss in the Super Bowl as you possibly could have been, and he decided to do that, which I'm glad the whole league got on him. Like Garrett Blunt called him a dickhead.
That
on
was
Twitter.
fucking awesome.
That's hilarious.
That was fucking awesome.
So seeing the whole, it was
By
nice.
the way, buy his products.
Between that and the flag, it
No
was
free
nice
ads.
to see the
Cool,
whole
bro.
sports world like be on Philly's
Free
side for once in like my entire life. Like even LeBron tweeted out like that was a bullshit.
I know
call.
that meant a lot to you.
It did mean a lot to me.
I wish he wouldn't talk about my
As
team,
a
though.
whole, it meant a lot to see pretty
Stay
much
in
the
LA.
entire sports world be on our side.
Yeah.
for
Can we
once.
real quick also? That was like LeBron is so fucking corny, dude.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big LeBron guy.
I was so happy when he got booed at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause-
Dak got booed
comment.
to smithereens.
yeah, that was awesome.
Cut that.
And by the way, he didn't say fuck Philly. By the way.
Oh, should we like real like I don't know how much time we have left here, but like the NFL awards, like just real quick, like I was just the
I
only
don't
things
care
of
enough.
note. The only things of note I have is I'm glad Brock Purdy didn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't
Yeah.
think he deserved it. That's not being a hater, but he didn't play enough of the year. That's really all I have. Geno Smith won Comeback Player
Your
of the
boy
Year.
won offensive rookie or offensive
The Sauce?
or defensive rookie.
Yeah.
of the
Sauce?
year. Yeah.
The Jets won every goddamn award.
They're very
There's only
well set up for the
two.
future.
And that's my second. That's my second team, by the way.
I controversially
my
said Geno Smith
AFC
shouldn't
team.
even be nominated for Comeback Player of the Year, and he won. So I took a massive L on that.
Wait.
I still stand on
well,
what I said.
Vince is absolutely
No,
wrong
you're,
about
you're
this.
100% right. He shouldn't be.
No.
He didn't come back from anything.
Where did he come back from?
He came
Yeah.
back.
Thank you,
Dude,
Jake.
you
Mediocrity?
should- Yes,
I knew
and
I
you
was
should
gonna
be
like you,
honored for
Jake.
that.
Oh, boo
you should be
hoo.
honored for that.
Oh
It's
my
not-
gosh!
Shut
The
up.
participation
I
award.
want Brandon Graham to win because he strip sacked Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Let's
No,
be
because he tore his
objective.
fucking Achilles and he came
Let's-
back to have the best year of his
Let's
career
be
at 30 fucking
objective.
4.
Let's be objective.
Let's be subject.
Objectively speaking, Brandon Graham came off an Achilles tear at 34 and had the best year of his career with 11
Yeah,
sacks,
objectively
I think.
speaking, he did way
Geno
more than
Smith
Geno.
did a thing that he never did. So let's honor him.
That sounded like a millennial where you're like, so I did a thing.
Yeah, he did a
Geno
thing.
Smith did.
He
okay.
did a thing.
Anyway,
Wow.
I'm not getting wrapped up on
He
Geno
should have been
yet.
MVP.
We have a couple minutes left. The only other thing
the
I want to
league.
touch on was the Sixers. Like I said, they
Dwayne
decided
Dedman
that the best
fucking
thing
sucks.
to numb our pain would be signing Dwayne Dedman, who was like
He's better than
Although
Coley Stein.
also I gotta
All right?
say that so far what we've seen from McDaniels, I do like him.
Yeah,
He's a
so
good
far.
player.
It's
Him
it's
and
fleeting.
Paul Reed, honestly.
Did you see Thibault's game for the
Oh, I don't give a
Trailblazers?
fuck about
Thibault
that. I
really
knew he
threw-
was gonna have like
he's
one or
six,
two games
6 of
like
8
that.
from 3.
Yeah, like whatever.
Ridiculous.
I don't
3
give a fuck
blocks.
about that.
wait, Thibault last night though had like
yeah,
what,
he
like-
was 0 of 3 from 3.
Well,
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's Thibault.
Yeah,
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew he was gonna have like one or two good games. Everybody's gonna be like, "Fuck," and then he was gonna just
Yeah.
disappear in a music
Just
After
Thibault.
last night's game was when he threw shade at the Sixers.
which was
Right?
What
honestly,
did he
I
say?
loved it.
He
Honestly,
basically said like it felt nice to feel wanted and feel comfortable.
Well, because he wasn't
I
playing.
mean, yeah.
he's around his
Yeah.
hipsters in Portland.
He's probably
perfect.
I mean, he's speaking
Like,
facts.
I am the
He didn't play.
I'm kind of the Sixers pessimist out of the three of us, and like my thing is like, again, I will always want them to succeed and everything, but like signing Dwayne Dedman and McDaniels, like I get McDaniels is fine, but like they're not like
They can't
Well,
keep
traded.
They can't keep
They're
doing
trading,
the
sorry,
whole
sorry.
like
Well, so-
buyout market
They're not all
thing
trade-
and
like,
yeah.
expect it to work.
my
I-
thing especially is that you just had a game that Paul Reed and Jalen McDaniels, you put them in next to each other, kind of a little bit of Twin Towers vibes.
Yep.
That lineup worked
No pun
fucking
intended.
incredibly.
No planes involved.
That lineup literally worked fucking incredibly. Like, because you had two guys that are just jumping after rebounds, being aggressive at the hoop, actually boxing out, actually getting
Yeah.
boards. That's our biggest issue
here's my
with
thing.
backup centers is they don't play defense and they can't fucking rebound.
But
our
let's see
starting-
if it
our
works.
starting
But
center
let's see if
can't
it
rebound.
works
Hold on,
going
hold on,
I was
forward.
about to
let
say,
me-
our starting center can't rebound for shit. I
Whatever.
was at that
I don't
game.
care about
He
that.
looked
But
lifeless.
he makes up for it with his scoring, obviously, and then also with his defense, because his defense has been top tier this year.
This is
But no, hold on. One second.
I'm sorry.
So if it's nice
Let
to
Pat
see
cook.
two guys that are young
Pat Cook.
and also fucking get in and actually like take advantage of their moments, and it's nice to see Paul Reed actually kind of flourish.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy.
But we'll see how
That-
long
This
that
is not the
lasts.
victory.
That's
tour.
the thing that sucks.
He
This
might
is
be
not the
exposed.
Paul Reed victory
So-
tour path.
He could be
but
exposed.
but here's the thing that I don't get. You have a guy last year in the playoffs who played very well, considering he had very limited playing time in the
Yeah.
regular season. Why do you not reward him the season after by letting him just step into that role
And see what happens.
and see what happens.
They
And
just
and,
don't
and
wanna
then
give him a
like I get trading for Harrell. Maybe you use him as a 4 next ball, whatever. But like Harrell has been horrible.
Yeah, he is what he
obviously.
is.
sucks.
and he
Um,
doesn't even know why he's been horrible.
Yeah, fucking.
I don't know.
Don't get me started on him. But Paul obviously has been a guy that once you give him consistent minutes, he shows out.
Right.
Exactly.
That's been the biggest issue all year. Doc's throwing him in for 4 or 5 minutes a game. He's not.
He can't get
consistently
into a
playing
rhythm.
him. Yeah.
And
like-
by the way, Tobias Harris has been trash.
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
That
Let's-
was always gonna come.
It's just trash, and he started off the year so well.
Yeah, it
And
was too
then-
good for too long.
Yeah, and
I
then,
knew it
you
was
know,
gonna crash
I
and burn
think
at
one
some
of-
point.
I mean, he's been bad.
2 points
Yeah,
for
I
me.
know.
I think one of the drawbacks of the Sixers and why I always get scared to buy in is is the rebounding thing on a larger scale. I feel like too often the Sixers just don't care. Like within the first offensive possession of a game whether or not like there's some times where like the game starts, you see a possession, you're like, oh, the Sixers don't give a fuck tonight.
Right.
And they do that way
It does
too
happen a
often.
lot. I agree
They do
with
it
that.
all the time, and it's so frustrating that like you could just come out and like yes, I am gonna group Joel in there.
Is that a
Joel-
leadership thing?
Joel
like
is
with
a
the head
generation.
coach?
Joel
Or-
Embiid is a generational talent, one of the best players to ever put on a Sixers uniform or touch the court. Yet there are plenty of times where he just doesn't care. You
Well,
can
no,
see it in
but
his
that's
face.
been his entire career.
And go back to last year with George Niang saying that Doc doesn't make them practice. Like all of that stuff, it leads me to just feel like there is a flaw with this team in that regard,
And that's fair.
It doesn't give them enough time to gather like a feel for the game with each other. Sometimes I feel like because they just don't give a fuck too often.
I'm just happy
And then
Harden's
my
playing well.
second point and my final point, I gave Pat his flowers earlier in the podcast, so I'm giving Seamus his
Aw,
flowers now.
thank you.
Daryl Morey, fraud.
Total fraud.
I'm in a reactionary mood this week, so yeah,
He's
Daryl
the
Morey.
most overrated executive in the
Morey
history
I
of
decided-
dropped him down from 1 seed at 2.
Daryl Morey
today.
decided that he
in my head.
Very proud of you.
Daryl Morey got forced to
This is
trade
progress.
Ben Simmons and decided that was enough. That was the only substantial move I have to make.
And by the way, like I said, when it happened,
You were
he
right.
was forced to do
Yes,
that.
you were
He
right.
had to do that. That was his job to do that.
You were right.
Did he get Did he get James Harden back? Yeah.
But he had to make that move.
But
And he's
also,
done
what
nothing.
has James Harden gotten us? So I know he only had 1 year.
give him time.
But let's see what happens.
James has been that was a steal of a trade.
who just hired an agent, by
Ben
the way.
Simmons can't even touch the fucking court in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And he
Dude,
broke up that.
I've said it before.
but
Daryl Morey is a fraud.
We're gonna touch more
because
on-
he's so hyped.
we'll definitely be touching more on the Sixers and the Phillies, obviously next week now that the Eagles are dead and gone.
And he's
but-
another one that's just like Doc Rivers with the attitude.
No, I agree. Daryl decided to not do anything else of note.
I
So-
thought Seamus forgave Daryl when
I
he got
for-
Harden.
Yes, I did. And I still
But
think
he-
that was
he
a good
shouldn't have.
trade.
He was right.
But I didn't all the way say that Daryl Morey is not a fraud now.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about it last week.
Or
Isaiah
overrated.
Joe. This is a fault of Doc and Daryl, but Isaiah Joe flourishing just continues to make me very upset.
Nothing new.
Doc wouldn't play him, and
Yeah.
then Daryl got rid of him. But
Yeah.
yeah, Seamus, I'm on the same board.
I'll
as you
accept
now.
your flowers.
Doc, Daryl Morey has a lot to do in these next however long he's here to make up for the fact that he's pretty much been stagnant since the Ben Simmons thing. Like again,
It's a strong word.
the trade deadline, the only moves he make is Jalen McDaniels, who like to me is not that big of a needle mover. And then
No,
he's like,
he's not.
you know what? Fuck it, like Dwayne Dedman. Who cares?
McDaniels is a nice role player. Dedman is just a body.
So, by
That's
the
all I
way,
got for today.
I'd like to throw some stats out real quick on Dwayne Dedman this season. His overall plus-minus on the season is minus 101.
Oh, nice.
In his last 3 games for the Heat, he played a total of 12 minutes, had 0 points in those 12 minutes, and had, I think, 5 fouls in those 12
So
minutes.
he's
he
so he's
wasn't-
Trez.
He wasn't even getting minutes.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
I can't wait. I can't wait to be in the playoffs and be in the same position we're in every year, except it's a new player, and watch Joel Embiid be gassed, and he goes to the bench and like
And probably
and
injured.
Dwayne Dedman
All
is
right.
like negative
All
25.
right, let's
on
not.
the court.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't mentally
An
go
injured Joel, they
All right,
slide
stop.
The
All right,
backup
stop.
center's
Stop.
minus
there. All right, let's
45
not.
on the court.
Come on, dude. Please. I can't
Nothing
deal
new.
with this.
Anyway,
Nothing
I'm
new.
pretty sure that's the end of the show.
You've
here,
been through
so-
like 1 year of it. Shut the fuck up.
I can't deal with the
All right,
negativity.
Seamus, listen, I feel.
I
like
know
you
it's going to happen, but
All right. Well,
I can't
anyway,
get there yet after the Super Bowl loss.
yeah, this is the end of the Eagles' 2022 arc of this podcast. So
Pitchers and
XFL
catchers.
coming up.
Pitchers and
Oh,
catchers.
baby.
Let's
got
go.
pitchers and catchers coming
tomorrow.
up. We'll get more into the Sixers.
Kyle Schwarber gained about 15 pounds from a photo that I saw. That maybe
and,
that means more
and
home runs.
Alec Boehm gained 15 pounds of pure fucking
20
muscle.
home runs this year for Alec Boehm. Jot it down.
Just
All
please
right,
don't pull a
guys.
Scott King.
Well, I would say
He
go
might.
Birds to sign off like I always do, but
Let's go
they-
Phils.
no, you know what?
Go
They
so
gave
Phils.
us a great season. They gave us a lot to remember.
I'm
Except
sure
for
at some,
James.
I'm sure at some point I'll get to that.
So I do want to say, go Birds, because
And by the
how he's
way-
gonna fucking stack this team again this offseason. We're gonna be right back.
Jason
where we were.
Kelsey's a known listener to the show. Please come back.
Yeah.
For
We will
God's
send you
sake,
all the
please come
kegs,
back.
every keg,
Listen,
every single keg.
I have my beef jerky shirt, all right? So I'm not ready to put that on yet, all right?
You've been wearing it like constantly.
But I'm not ready to really put it on, okay? I'm not ready
All
to
right,
cut
all
the
right.
sleeves off.
All right, guys. Thanks
And
for
wear it at
listening.
Barnaby's.
Cut
Thanks
that.
for listening. We will see you guys next week with some Sixers, some Phillies, and
Well,
sadly, no.
well,
Eagles
reverse
talk.
that. It'll be Phillies and then Sixers.
All right, love you guys. See ya.
Go Battlehawks.